the CS to appear here to shed light. If we find the gaps, nothing stops this committee from inviting any other person. And probably you have seen some gaps. So nothing stops this committee from inviting anyone. But if you remember very well, maybe you are not in when I was making my opening remarks. I asked the CS, he was supposed to be accompanied by the Director General, Public-Private Partnership, who is Mr. Christopher Kiregwa. Yeah. And I also asked that yesterday. So, and I said we are going to deal with that issue at the tail end because I didn't want to chase the CS away because it's a matter of national interest. So this is another character that we are going to discuss as a committee because we have invited the Treasury. We had actually invited the PS for Treasury, but we were expecting the Director General of Public-Private Partnership, who is actually the one who is supposed to answer all these questions. But the CS saw it fit to come before us because he understands our role as a committee, and I should thank him for appearing here. But having said that, Bwana CS, briefly, because it was Senator Omtata took us through the law and what the law says, I would want you to comment on Senator Omtata's remarks or contribution. I did not hear the question, but I would want to hear your comment on that.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Senator Omtata, for the question. As regarding the due diligence that ought to have been done before commencing the exercise, my written response does say an initial due diligence was done, Chair, so it was done. It is not true that it was not done. If you go to my first page of my document, I did say in paragraph number 3, starting with currently we are processing through the stages outlined in the PPP framework. We are in the detailed due diligence phase while also negotiating the proposal submitted by ADANI. An initial desktop due diligence was done by JKIA and the PPP Directorate before commencing the evaluation. So it was done. As regarding the procurement process, I'm not a lawyer, chairman like Omutata. I thought he was, sorry. But I've just been referred very quickly to section 4.2 of the PPP Act, which does say the provision of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act shall not apply to a public-private partnership. So I don't know whether we are reading the same law, the same act. And if you go quickly to section, which other section was this we wanted to refer to? Section 40, which basically talks to a contracting authority may consider a privately initiated proposal submitted under subsection 1, which is a private party may submit a privately initiated proposal to a contracting authority, and the authority may consider a privately proposal submitted accordingly. Chair.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours of work, helping me in your spare time from home? I'm on a mission to recover $10 million within the next 12 months to American patriots that have unrightly been robbed of these funds and are not aware the funds still belong to them. $14 million are being swiped every day, and there's just too much for me to do alone, and that's where you come in. I'll show you how to recover these funds for them. You'll get paid handsomely for your help. Each one of these takes only a few hours and is producing 5-figure checks for a few people that have already started helping me with this mission. Click the button below and I'll give you all the details and show you how you can get involved.
Capacity for Rwanda is 14. the capacity we are developing is 23. Ethiopia is developing 100 million passenger. But more importantly, look at the competitive aspects of Kenya being that anchor state when we do enjoy the benefits of what I said earlier, geolocationing with Mombasa Port. That we should not be competing with Ethiopia, who do not have the benefit of having a seaport. And therefore, we need to ensure that by sea, by air, by road, we are competing. Whereas our fiscal headroom cannot allow us to build a new airport, which we should have built some 15 years ago, a new airport. We need a new airport, and it is incumbent upon us to really suit investors. If, for example, in my last trip to China, which is the China Africa kind of forum on China-Africa cooperation, we are marketing a number of infrastructure projects like roads. And we are saying, how do we open up our road to Malaba from Nairobi, from Mombasa, and so on and so forth? So to be able to attract that kind of investment, Chair, you need to give investors information and to be able to make informed decision to come to Kenya and not to go to Ethiopia. Let me rest. I don't know whether there's a very specific question which I didn't basically address from.
Maybe you can address that, Klaus, again, that you talked about the PIPs are not subject to.
I've just quickly been referred to Section 4.2, Chair, which does read the provision of the Public Procurement Act, Asset and Disposal Act 2015 shall not apply to a public-private partnership. So we basically have to prosecute the privately initiated proposal in line with the PPP Act. I think the biggest challenge, Chair, we are facing is that we have not really employed often the PPP Act, or not many projects have succeeded through the PPP procurement process. And then therefore, some of the challenges we are facing because of non-disclosure, there's a lot of negotiation in the process, is lack of information. And in Section 42 of the same PPP Act, it does read, a contracting authority may consider a privately initiated submitted under this, under one, which is a privately party may submit a privately initiated proposal to a contracting authority. And that is what ADANI did. Thank you.
Okay, and when you're there, just go to 41. No, the same section 43J that states the privately initiated proposal under subsection 1 shall contain the following information. J states a justification why the project is not suitable for open competitive procurement. I think on that one, that's why that's the area. That's why we feel that ADANI's proposal is the only proposal that we should go out with. Why not, for competitiveness, say we have one proposal, but before we consider this, we are going to invite any other person out there who would want to come up with their own proposals.
Chair, I'm advised we satisfied ourselves that there was good justification why the project could not be suitable for open competitive. I think you're talking about the kind of investment we are looking at. The investors who look at various aspects of investing in various destinations. And yes, I think we can give that justification why we think the project, or why we satisfied ourselves that the project was not suitable for open competitive.
Point of order, Chair.
And that's why we're still insisting this Mr. Christopher Kiregwa, the Director General of Public-Private Partnership, should be here. I don't know whether it's before maybe the end of this session. You should have him here. I know. Okay, so if you can contact him, but I have Senator Sifuna.
Yes. Chair, you remember me asking the CS when the policy of government changed. It must have been at that point where he says he found justification for abandonment of an open tender system. So can he confirm that he is not just speaking ad lib, that there is a document,
yes,
a document by government justifying the departure from, in terms of policy? And also, Honorable Chair, let us remember the provisions of Article 10 of the Constitution. Article 10 inserts the participation of the people at the point of policy formulation and a change of policy. So that, Honorable CS, if indeed government was abandoning this path, having found this justification, you needed to involve people and tell people that going forward, if we are discussing expansion of JKIA or any other national infrastructure projects, we are going to go the PPP way. So that policy change, Chair, we have to locate it in time and a process. Was it a cabinet decision? Who made that decision? And how were the people involved in the decision making?
Chair.
Yes, yes.
I thought we had agreed that all members ask questions, then supplementary are deferred.
Oh yeah.
But can
I just allowed because that one was so close to what we're saying.
A point of order about Section 4 that the minister referred to. It refers to a PPP agreement not being subject to the other act, not the initiation of a procurement. This act oust the other act at a certain stage of the procurement process, the agreement, and you have seen they have given a very elaborate procedure of how getting that agreement position.
All right. Noted. CS?
Chair, as regarding the change of policy and why, I think the question is still why ADANI and whether there was change of policy. I'm trying to locate where there was this visibility study done and which informed us accordingly. PS, can you assist me very quickly?
Thank you. Chair, we, as Kenya Airports Authority, we did a feasibility study for JKIA. That was after doing the National Aviation Policy and the JKIA Medium-Term Investment Plan. This feasibility study informed that the JKIA requirements for investment amount to $1.63 billion. We received a PAP of a proponent willing to invest close to $2 billion, and we satisfied ourselves that we can move as guided per the Act. Yes, the competitive bidding could have taken place. We start with the request for qualifications, and you go to the second stage of request for proposal. It is a lengthier process. Right now, JKIA has a capacity of handling 7.6 million passengers per annum. Last year, we did 8.2 million passengers. That's why you see the long queues. That's why you see a very infrastructure that is really stressed out. And we made a decision to go and admit the PAP.
Excuse me, Chair. I would like to ask a supplementary question on the PS, please, in relation to what he has just answered, because I believe, Chair, that is actually not the question he was asked. Did the Kenya Airports Authority, PS, do an analysis, feasibility study, do a financial analysis, do an evaluation with the critical sector industries and critical players to make sure that that report, which would have made it possible for us as the oversighting team, should be having it in this list that the PS has presented. That list is not here. So, Chair, I want you to look at this issue by accepting that that agreement, that feasibility study doesn't exist here. The feasibility study we have is been done by a company called ALC, and ALC is not a Kenyan company, and this is why we have these challenges.
Is it the feasibility study on policy? Because you talked about the policy, Bana CS, Bana PS, before you
I want to
clarify
add on
that.
what you have said, please.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
But I want Bana PS to tell us the problem with KAA. Management problem. That is what he wants to know. If you've done that, you should have known the problem is financial or management. What I said, he talked about Ethiopia Bole. Bole, Ethiopia, they 17 million passengers, 2023, 2024. We carried 8 million passengers. And the profit they're making US dollars in a year, same year, including Ethiopia Airlines. So the problem we have, is it financial or is it management? Just tell us.
The expression of interest, because that question was asked from that policy.
Chair, the feasibility report that is attached was done by the proponent as per the Act, as per the PPP Act. But JKIA or KA also did its own feasibility report earlier, and it was concluded in February. And that is also an attachment, and it was done by ALG Consulting Group, which is a Spanish consulting firm. And it is part of the attachments that have been submitted today.
Chair.
So, to the point of order.
Chair, I beg your
Chair.
indulgence. There's a question from.
Yeah, the question,
Chair.
answer the question by.
There's a question on, is the problem financial with KA? Yes, it is. KA makes around 4 to 5 billion a year. If we are to plan for an investment of 200 billion Kenya shillings.
Excuse me, Chair. The PS is misinforming the House.
Yeah.
KAA makes 19 billion shillings a year.
Let's.
He's misinforming the House. It's in this report.
Yes.
So why are you saying 6 billion?
I'm talking about. The net. We make 19 billion, but I'm talking about the net, having taken
The net,
care of
the profit.
entire
Thanks for the
OpEx.
clarification.
We make 19 billion, but I'm talking about the net, having taken
The net,
care of
the profit.
entire
Thanks for the
OpEx.
clarification. Thank
Group, the last 24 hours, the allegations we're having that the Swiss authorities have frozen the ADANI Group bank accounts of 310 million Kenya shillings. Waziri, why don't you cancel this deal as of today before you walk out? And I know the president will understand. Number two, what is the consequence in case this deal is brought or halted today as you walk out from here before close of business 5 p.m. Kenyan time? Secondly, your former colleague before the House in November last year, Kipchumba Murkomen, there were two Chinese companies and who is Civil Engineering Group and China Aerotechnology Corporation called CATIC were given an award of 55 billion to build 178,000 square meters terminal, which was designed by Pascal and Watson of London. The information I have is that the government, after the deal was poached, the government paid 4.7 billion Kenyan shillings. What is the position on that matter, Waziri? Number 3, under the PMF Act and the Constitution, why would you prefer privately initiated investment as opposed to open tendering process? Is this a case of money laundering by individuals that want to launder money using this investment at JKIA? Number 4, this PIP by ADANI group of companies, is it only on JKIA, airports, or airstrips, including Karenga airstrip in Kericho, or is it only JKIA restricted on build, operate, and transfer model, Waziri? Number 5, I've heard you talking about stakeholder. Stakeholder engagement does not mean public. Even Article 10 of the Constitution, public participation involve even people who are not aware there is an airport or aeroplane. Is it in order for this committee, and what will be a comment, to indicate that public participation was never done as per envisaged by the Constitution? And finally, Chair, I'm happy Senator Okia Okoitio Mtata has raised a question on the legality under PP, Public-Private Partnership Act. The reading of that act is that this deal is anchored on quicksand of fraud, pure manipulation, conmanship, self-aggrandizement, greed, and corruption and larceny and lethargy of the people who want to perpetuate illegality. Chair, well, you know, when witnesses appear, they assume senators are busy from reading. Although we did Kipchoge 159 in reading documentation, it is out of curiosity that in the board minutes of KIA, this will be my conclusion, it is out of curiosity that in the board meeting, there are glaring concerns by the board. Either it was ignored, either it was not dismissed, or some big boy somewhere were playing golf and decided that KIA board meeting minutes does not matter. In their observation in this minute 60715 of 2024, consideration of the projects, I will read one paragraph in the interest of time, that KIA, so that the proponent can generate its target revenue. I think that's ADANI group. It was observed include our brother, the acting MD, Mr. Henry Ogoye. It was observed different quarters in government, making it difficult to advance that the acting, and we would want to know later, Chair, as a supplementary, why Ogoye engagement through which, who are these interests, such as money laundering? The question, so in their own minutes, Chair, they and even within government itself. So Waziri, looking at this minute in time, looking at these minutes, either KIA was ignored, either Ministry of Treasury was ignored, and I hope, Chair, as you rule, the Minister of Treasury should also appear, Minister of Treasury, the PS and the DG. Of course, DG, Mr. Chair, should be frog-marched by the IG, because he has defied this committee, Chair. So the question is, there is no common position on this matter. So Waziri, is it in order as you walk out of this place to cancel and call off this fraud by ADANI group? That is on page, members chair, I think people are looking for it, is page 4, the last attachment of Roman 4. We took a lot of time running about Roman numbers, but it has never helped us in life. But then Roman 4 of that minute chair. So if Waziri can Waziri kindly cancel this, as Abraham Lincoln has said, this is our government for the people, fight the people, and for the people, do what the people want. Cancel this deal and we end this charade. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Bana CS.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I think we all agree that Kenyans need a new airport. I don't think that's in doubt. I don't think the questions about ADANI that we are prosecuting is to, I guess, part of the, will help us to go through the public participation, information positive, information negative. We do more better due diligence, but ensure that we do not lose, we do not throw